Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 13, Episode 9, Coffee Talk. All right, Paul is recovering nicely from his non-specific heart procedure, and Dolores fills him in on the events of the weekend at the shore. Frank and I had a conversation, and he's not happy that I didn't stay at his house. Paul's like, wow, he's really not going to let up on this, is he? And Dolores goes, well, you're close to your ex-wife. And Paul's like, not like that. She's not living with my ex-girlfriend, and she doesn't call me 50 times a day. In Dolores' confessional, she goes, she calls a lot. Anyway, Paulie has a good relationship with his ex. They have 2 boys together, 21 and 17. However, yes, Frank and I are closer. Not everybody's gonna understand that. So Paulie is afraid that Frank is like just now realizing that he made the biggest mistake of his life. And Dolores is like, it's not like that, Paul. And in her confessional, Dolores goes, Frank realized he made the biggest mistake before he ever walked out that door. Just for the record. But that was 25 years ago. Then we see a picture of them. Anyway, Dolores tells Paul that she is going to have a one-on-one with Frank and just get this straightened out once and for all, because she's tired of the fighting. Then she tells Paul she also agreed to meet with Jennifer. Now we check in with Rachel Fuda, and finally we figure out why she's too busy with her own business to get involved with your business. You know, her tagline. I was always like, what is she busy with? I don't even know what she does. Well, the question isn't what she does, it's what doesn't she do? Rachel and John Fuda, not only do they have a parking company, which, quick question, is the spirit behind her on the payroll? Because I'm not sure I want a ghost parking my car. I'm just saying, like, I'm not even sure how you would hand over the keys. Wouldn't they just sort of fall right through their palm? Anyway, they also have a concierge business. They own a tile company. Yes, John Fuda is the tile king. And a burger store. So anyway, Rachel tells us that she comes from the corporate world and John comes from the streets. So their styles of running a business are very different. We also learned that Rachel would like to adopt Jaden. This is John's 15-year-old son from a previous marriage. John, I guess, has full custody of Jaden. They'll still need to have his biological mother sign off on it. But Rachel's very adamant about wanting to adopt him. I don't know the story behind, that whole situation. I don't know why John has full custody. I don't know anything about this woman. All I know is Rachel keeps saying she wants to protect her family. And she definitely thinks that Jaden is better off with her. All right, now it is time for the lunch with Dolores and Jennifer. Dolores right away, she's like, I want a truce. I don't like this fighting, and that moving forward, she is going to watch the way she speaks to Jennifer. And Jennifer said, and I will call you out on anything you say that offends me, and I hope that you will do the same. So yeah, they agree. They talk about how bad things have gotten in the group and all the ladies fighting. And, Jennifer and Margaret and Jackie and Danielle, and it's just gotten very bad. So Jennifer has an idea. She knows of a lady who reads Turkish coffee cups. So you drink the coffee and then whatever left in the cup, that's what she reads. And, Jennifer is Turkish, but I thought she said she found this lady through Teresa. I could be wrong, but that's how she made it sound like it was someone Teresa knew. So anyway, she would like to invite all the ladies to come and do this. And Dolores is like, even Margaret? And she said, yes, but I don't really want to have her at my home. So right away, Dolores offers to host it at Paulie's house. I did notice that they really kind of always film over there. The one time they filmed at Dolores' house, it looked like it was staged. So I think it's that it's just still so under construction or whatever, that I don't think she's living there. So I don't know if that's what the deal is. Aren't her kids living in that house? Mostly it seems like she films at Paulie's. Speaking of under construction, in the next scene we are with Joe and Melissa, and they are at their new house, which is very much still under construction. Melissa tells Joe that she's helping Danielle out by having like a little pop-up store inside of Envy for Danielle's bougie babies or whatever her thing is. Bougie kids? Bougie babies would be better just for the alliteration, but I think it's called Bougie Kids. And then we check in with Danielle, who's sitting on the floor, just organizing all these little tiny outfits and putting them on tiny hangers on a tiny little clothing rack. It looks like American Girl doll size. It's all very small. But anyway, she's doing that, and Teresa FaceTimes her. And Danielle's like, "Oh, hi, you sound congested." And Teresa goes, "Oh my God, I was feeling run down from confronting Melissa. And then, oh my God, I tested positive." So was she positive at the shore? Because there was a lot of people there. Either that or she got it from someone at the shore. And how close are we to the wedding day? Because yikes. When they were at the shore, it was 4 weeks away. So, I mean, I don't know where we are timeline-wise. I don't know how long ago the shore was. But, you know, it's got to be getting close to the wedding. Oh, my God. Okay. Here's how Teresa fills Danielle in on what happened at the Fudas after she left. So Louis was talking to Melissa to get her mom's phone number so he could invite her to the wedding. But of course, she refused. Then Joe said, "I think you're miserable." And I said, "Oh, you think I'm miserable? Well, I think the two of you are miserable." Well, that's a great summarization, except for the fact that it's not true. None of those words were said. Joe asked her, "Are you happy?" And she said, "Yes, I'm happy." And he said, "Then why are you so mean? You're like, f them, f this, f that." And Teresa said, "I'm not mean." And Joe said, "I've been happy for a long time." And Teresa said, "I don't think you are." Now, I don't know about the Donna Marco's phone number part. Melissa probably said, "Forget it. You don't have to invite her." You know, it was probably something like that. Or maybe not. Maybe she was rude about it. They didn't air that part. But I know she was wrong about the other part. Joe never said that he thought she was miserable. Teresa goes on to tell Danielle that then they got up and left. And Danielle goes, "Then what happened?" "Louis went outside to talk to them again." Well, I mean, they asked him to move his car. Anyway, and then he came back crying. Oh, no. What? We did not see that part. Oh, but we do now in a flashback. Joe B is holding him. Louis like, "I don't like this. I feel this pain that they have. I just called my sisters to say I love you." What am I seeing? There are like tear tracks. I don't know if it's his spray tan, if it's makeup. I don't know if his mascara is running, but something's going on there. So Teresa says, "I just feel so bad for Louis. Like, I'm so embarrassed." Why? Because he's acting like a little bitch girl? Just kidding. Yes, you should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed because you're too stubborn and Louis is losing his mind. He's starting to question his skills as a great leader, just bringing people together. Then we cut back to Melissa and Joe, and Melissa goes, "Margaret called me after we left that day, and she said that Louis was sobbing." Joe, why? He needs to fix one person, no one else. That's why I think he's two-faced. And Melissa goes, "He's trying. He's working on himself." And Joe's like, "Oh, come on. Like, you're not buying this too, Melissa." He goes, "All this kumbaya nonsense, it's all fake. That's why it came out in the press, that things about Dina." Okay. We flash back to Jackie. This is back when they were at Melissa and Joe's shore house, and Jackie's telling the group all the blogs are saying that Dina's not coming to the wedding anymore because Louis got in a fight with Dina's husband. So now in Joe's confessional, he says, "Dina's husband David called me because I'm friendly with David. It's Pizzagate Part 2. Now, I'm thinking it really is Pizzagate Part 2, meaning David was also somehow going to be like an investor in this pizza oven business. We flash back to when Joe first talked about it in his confessional, and he's like, Louis screwed me with the pizza business. And Teresa jumped ship and went on his side. So now we're back to like Joe's current confessional, and he says, and it screwed up another relationship in Teresa's life. Apparently, Teresa and Dina are not speaking. So Joe says to Melissa, that's why I look at Louis like, shut up. Stop being fake with everybody. Like you just want everyone to be nice when you're doing your shit. Okay, back to the FaceTime call with Teresa and Danielle. Teresa's like, this is my family. The only family I have. And they're being mean to him. Oh, so she's calling Louis the only family she has and that Melissa and Joe are being mean to him? I thought she meant Melissa and Joe being the only family she has. Also, stop saying that. You have family. You have Kathy and Rosie and your brother and your sister-in-law and your girls. She has burned bridges in her family and holding grudges. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you don't have any family, it's kind of on you right now. I mean, some people actually don't have any family members. You know, you at least have a chance to mend some fences, maybe. If you want. And if you don't want, stop complaining about it then. Just move on. You have a husband, you have 4 daughters that daughters that love you. The pity party, I'm done with that. So Teresa says, I told Louis he needs to draw a line in the sand because I'm done. I am so drained. So it sounds like she's telling Louis, stop trying with Joe and Melissa. Anyway, Danielle's like, well, luckily you can rest. You don't have to go to the coffee reading. I'll take all your feelings and unleash them when I'm there for the both of us. Because I left Rachel's very upset. She told Margaret what I was saying, but I was only saying things we both heard from other people. That Margaret's got an arsenal of stuff on everybody. And I was like, why am I looking like the bad guy when we were in the same conversation? Also, Danielle is upset about everybody thinking that she's hiding something about her relationship with her brother. And Teresa goes, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Everyone should have just said, I hope you and your brother make up one day. Side note, I heard that Dolores actually clapped back at Jackie on social media for like spearheading this interrogation of Danielle and why she doesn't talk to her brother by saying something like, you know, we still don't know why Jackie doesn't talk to her sister. We still don't have all the details about that, something like that. So Danielle is pretty upset with herself for leaving because that's not like her. And she says that she still has a lot that she wants to get off her chest. So good luck, coffee reader. Like Jennifer said, this should be fun. Speaking of which, it is time for the coffee reading lunch now. We're at Paul's house. Everything looks amazing. There are some caterers there that Dolores is instructing to just ignore it when things start to get crazy with the ladies. At least Dolores knows it's going to get crazy. Unlike these other housewives that say, I just want everyone to get along today. I don't want any fighting here today. Oh, come on. Dolores knows the score. They're just like, okay. So Paul is there. I don't know if he's going to be leaving soon. And the guests are starting to arrive. Angie, the coffee readers first, and then Jennifer, Rachel gets there. Everybody is loving Paulie's house. When Jen Fessler gets there, she's like, I'm trying not to be jealous of Dolores, but this house is so 50 Shades of Grey. Like, I'm becoming desperate to find the red room. Also, geez, this view he has off the patio is ridiculous. So I looked it up, and it is a $2.3 million apartment in Edgewater, New Jersey. I don't know where that is, but his business is based in New York City. And this article said it takes him just under 2 hours to get to the office. So, yikes. Hopefully he doesn't have to go in every day, because that's a commute. All right, so when most of the ladies get there, Melissa says, I'm confused. How is it that you two are throwing this party? She says to Dolores and Jennifer. And they kind of look at each other, and Dolores says, well, we came to a truce. And Jennifer wanted a party with everybody, and she didn't think everyone would come to her house. So I said, we'll have it here. Okay, that was very diplomatic because I think Jennifer said she didn't want Margaret in her house. To put it like Jennifer didn't think everyone would come to her house was a very nice way of saying it. And Margaret might even know that because in her confessional she goes, I know Dolores. She doesn't like fighting. But does she really like Jennifer? I mean, does anybody really like her? Okay, now Jackie and Danielle arrive. They're the last two, not together, but they're just the last two to get there. And Jennifer announces, me and Dolores have some news. And Margaret goes, beside the fact that you two made up. So Dolores goes, well, you all know Teresa couldn't come because she has COVID, but she called while we were together. So this was during their lunch together. And she said that while she was meditating about her wedding, she pictured Jennifer and I in the wedding. Flashback to their lunch. Teresa, would you girls be my bridesmaids? And they're like, of course. So Dolores barely gets that out, and Jennifer goes, so we're bridesmaids. Oh my God. Look, I have been defending Teresa as the bride to invite, not invite, include, exclude, whoever she wants. This is her day. This is her wedding. But this last minute, 2 weeks or so before the wedding, epiphany that she has while meditating, no. Just stop weaponizing your wedding as a means to hurt Melissa and or Joe. Just stop. What the hell? And Jennifer announcing it to the room like she expects them to break into applause or something, with Melissa standing right there. I mean, everyone was kind of like shocked. I blame Dolores less because honestly, I don't even think Dolores would have mentioned it here at this party. You know, she might have said something to Margaret or whatever privately to pass it along like that so that Melissa knew. But to have Melissa find out in this way, like it was some big happy thing, I don't know. It just also seemed very much like Jennifer was relishing the moment. So Melissa looks at Dolores and she goes, you weren't even invited to the engagement party. And Dolores goes, I know, but I don't care about that. Melissa goes, I know you don't care, but I'm like, what happened? Jen Fessler, well, but she also lost a bridesmaid too, right? So then in Dolores' confessional, the producer says to her, do you think Dina being at the engagement party had anything to do with the fact that you weren't invited to it? Dolores, I'm not talking about Dina, ever. So yeah, there's bad blood there. My brain doesn't remember why. If you guys remember, just leave it in the comments so we all know why Dina and Dolores are mortal enemies. But yeah, they are. And Teresa chose Dina to be in her wedding over Dolores. And Dolores is just like, that's fine. And now Melissa's like, and she said this came to her in a vision. In Melissa's confessional, she's like, Dolores isn't invited to the engagement party, but Dina is. Now Dina's husband and Louis get into an argument over business, and Teresa and Dina are no longer friends. All of a sudden, it's like, Dolores, I was meditating, and yeah. So now it's time to eat. Danielle sits next to Margaret. Nobody's at the table yet, and it's pretty awkward, those two right next to each other. Because, you know, Danielle has some things she wants to get off her chest. But in her confessional, she says, it's a good thing I needed to eat first. Because, yeah, she kept quiet at that point. And Dolores has another announcement. She's like, I think we've all been under a lot of stress here. And we haven't been away together in a long time. Oh, no. And you think it's a good idea? Yeah. She talks about how Paulie took her to Ireland for Valentine's Day. They stayed in a castle, and it was magical and beautiful and life-changing for Dolores. She came back a different person. And I'd like us all to go back. So are you in? Yes or no? Everyone's like, hell yeah. Yes, they're in. Everyone's very excited about going far, far away with each other. Then Dolores says, it's like a bachelorette party for Teresa, because Teresa, she wants to take her away before. No, Dolores, please don't do that. Her wedding is right around the corner. I'm sure she's had all the showers and parties that she needs. And I'm sorry, I don't think that her last-minute replacement bridesmaid needs to whisk her off to Europe for an escape before her wedding. I mean, look, we all know that it's just a Bravo thing for the show, so just call it a girls' trip. It basically is. It's just that when you call it something else, then it becomes all about, oh, this trip was for Teresa, and like Teresa should get the best room, and we should all cater to Teresa because this is her trip. Like, I don't know. It just reminds me of all the trips for Jen Shah before she went off to jail. It's just dumb. And Dolores, you weren't even a bridesmaid until 5 minutes ago. And now it's time for the coffee reader. And I hope you guys are sitting down for this. Maybe grab your own Turkish coffee if you would like and settle in because it's quite a reading. First, we have Dolores. And Angie, the reader, says, "Your cup is actually short and sweet. There's a ring on your finger." Then the camera pans to Paulie, who's been kind of lurking in the background. It probably is going to happen. But Dolores just is she's like, okay. She doesn't say anything. So I think she knows it's going to happen too. If you were to compare this to all the talk of her future with David, this is very different. And I don't know for a fact, but I think Dolores kind of knew things weren't great with her and David, even though she acted like she was perfectly content. This feels different, She's just sort of quietly smiling, and I'm happy for her. Rachel is next, and Angie sees a big V that's representing victory. Either in the next 3 months or the next 3 years. Way to narrow it down, Angie. Something significant will happen in Rachel's life. So then Rachel tells her, and I guess everybody, about her trying to adopt her son, Jaden. And she says, that's the biggest thing that's happening in my life right now. And Angie said, then that's it. You're going to win in court. Margaret is feeling this a lot because she feels the same way about her stepchildren. She says that she basically raised them because their mom didn't live here. I don't know where she lived, but then Margaret is next. And this is where things get interesting with Angie and her reading. Angie sees something with a close friend. She sees the friend as a child and an adult, and she sees the letter L. "I see a knife stabbing you in the back," she says to Margaret. I mean, it's ridiculously spot on. It's also information Jennifer already knows, and the other ladies. Margaret in her confessional is like, "Oh, how convenient, since Jennifer's been talking about my ex-friend Laura every chance she gets." But here's a twist. Angie sees the friendship rekindling. Margaret's like, no. Oh my God. Now, if you thought that one seemed a little unbelievable, hold on to your hat. Because, well, first, Jennifer prompts her to say something about her marriage because she's been having some struggles. "I feel like my husband puts a lot of pressure on me." Angie goes, "Okay, well, I can tell that your husband really does love you a lot. And you are definitely all about family. I can see that people have offered you different things like endorsements." Already, Jackie and Margaret are like, look at each other. They cannot believe what they're hearing. We get a flashback to that brunch at Jen Fessler's when Margaret and Jennifer were in that huge fight with each other, just screaming things at each other. Apparently, Jennifer said something to Margaret about being more in demand than she is. And Margaret goes, "Oh, please. Yeah, I could tell by all your endorsements." And Jennifer's response is, "My endorsement is my family." So yeah, Jackie and Margaret think this is just a little too specific, this reading. Angie goes on to say, "You have turned down endorsements because you choose to be with your family." And Jennifer, of course, is looking around like, almost like she's scared at how good Angie is. Like, oh, I've got goosebumps. She didn't say that, but like that's the look on Jennifer's face. Like, can you believe this? Yeah, today I'm going to have to agree with Margaret on this one. Endorsements is not a word that you hear every day. And this feels like a setup. Rachel's not buying it. Melissa in her confessional says she's embarrassed for Jennifer. I mean, it's too much. And, it's Jennifer's psychic, too. So now Angie said, how old is your youngest? And Jennifer goes, 9. Like, I don't know where she's going with this one. Oh, God. Angie, you're waiting for her to get a little bit older. Sorry. Because that's when all the endorsements are going to come. God, enough with the endorsements. Because that's when the endorsements are really going to start coming your way, she says. Oh, my God. Wait, I thought the endorsements were already here, but she was turning them down because she's all about family. I mean, people are outwardly laughing right now. Margaret in her confessional said, no one's endorsing you, Jennifer. You know who's endorsing you? Charmin. Because of your 16 bathrooms and the fact that you're full of shit. Anyway, now it's just like a free-for-all because now Jackie just openly asks if Angie met with Jennifer ahead of time. And Jennifer's like, I barely know her. It was all in the cup, Jackie. And now Angie's holding the cup and she said, I actually read the word endorsement in here. Jennifer apologizes for them being so rude, and Angie's like, it's fine. Not everybody believes, and that's fine. I understand. Danielle is next, and Angie sees a close family, but conflict with her brother. I see him in a wedding, but I don't see you. This is ridiculous. It's so incredibly specific. It's information that is widely known among the ladies. Nothing said here today was anything that Jennifer didn't already know. Honestly, I do believe that there are people that have psychic abilities. And I'm not even saying that Angie doesn't. But this feels like Jennifer had an agenda and wanted her to say some certain things, and Angie went along with it. And that's very unfortunate if Angie does have real psychic abilities, because this makes her look like a hack. Anyway, Angie sees Danielle and her brother making a connection in the future and getting back together, after the anger dissipates. So maybe they can grab some dinner with Margaret and Laura after their friendship gets back on track. Anyway, Danielle she's upset that she's not talking to her brother, obviously. And Jackie said, well, I hope that's true, that you and your brother do get back together. And Danielle goes, do you? And Jackie goes, 1,000%, because I know what it's like to not talk to a sibling. And Danielle's like, then why were all of you talking to me like that? What Danielle should have said was, interesting. Why aren't you talking to your sister? Let's get into that story, Anyway, everyone's like, no one was saying that you aren't hurt by this. Just that we felt like there had to be more to the story. Danielle says she doesn't like walking away from a situation like she did. But she said, I was already blindsided by Rachel making me out to be the bad guy with Margaret. And when the talk about my brother started happening, I was already done for. KO'd, knocked out. Rachel, what did I say? She tells her, Margaret tells Danielle that it hurt her that she repeated something Jennifer said. Margaret tells Jennifer that she's angry with her for talking about her in the first place when she thought they had made up. And Danielle says they were just coffee talking. Margaret's like, actually, you said you were conversating, which isn't a word. Danielle, conversate is a word. I love how hard she stands behind that. That is the hill she will die on. Anyway, Rachel's like, yeah, I don't care about all this. And Danielle goes, well, I do. And everyone's like, whoa, okay. So Danielle just knows that she will never talk to Rachel about anything because she's gonna, run and tattle. And Dolores is like, okay, listen, I love you all. And Jen Fessler goes, but get out, right? And Dolores is like, I have a headache. So they all go home, and that is the end of the episode. Alrighty. Yeah, that was a crazy one, and we hardly got any Teresa. Thank you guys for being here with me. This is so much fun. I hope you liked the episode. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so. And also, please click on the bell icon to be notified every time I post something new on my channel. If you are an Amazon shopper, I'd love for you to consider going through one of my links in the description box below. You don't have to buy the thing that I have linked, but once you are in Amazon, you can purchase whatever you wanted, and I will get a small portion of any qualifying purchases. That's it. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.